Welcome to Sugarbush Resort. I really believed I've gotten somewhat comfortable skiing steeps after the age of 50. And then I attended Sugarbush's Summit Sessions that promised to deliver tackling some of the hardest terrain in the East. And my brain started negotiating. Not because I can't ski it, but because that little voice said, "Do you really belong here?" And that's when I realized the hardest part of skiing and improving over 50 isn't the terrain, it's not shrinking. This wasn't a casual 2 days of skiing. This was a steep skiing clinic focused specifically on technical terrain. No groomer laps, no cruising blues, working on my carving skills. So, what am I nervous about? I'm nervous. Am I going to be able to handle a terrain? We are going to be in steeps and glades and technical terrain. I mean, this is a new mountain. I was here beginning of the season, but there was not a lot to choose from. I'm nervous about, am I going to hold my class up? Am I going to be the weakest link? There's a lot, but got to trust my skills, trust myself. We were skiing Slide Brook Basin, Lew's Line, Gangsta's Grotto, Egan Woods, with tight glades, steep and steady, unforgiving bumps with deep troughs that feel like cliffs when you're in them, and a narrow one-track traverse that tested my skills and confidence just to get to the powder stashes of Slide Brook Basin. And the group, strong and a mix of ages. Younger guys who had testosterone on their side, a mother also in her 50s and her teen son who wanted a challenge, a 77-year-old woman who was an instructor for decades, who led women's clinics for years, but found herself getting rusty with the technical stuff and wanted to push herself, and another older gentleman in his 60s ready to push the limits. And then there was me, and two extremely talented and knowledgeable instructors as our fearless leaders. This wasn't beginner energy. This was let's go all in. Day one, the group stayed together, tackling some of the toughest glades Sugarbush had to offer. On day two, first thing in the morning, a small group were heading back to Slide Brook Basin for another lap. And I hesitated. Not because I couldn't ski it, I was there the day before, but because I didn't want to hold the younger guys and the two snowboarders joining us if they had to wait for me. That over 50 script started running. Maybe stay back. Maybe work on drills in the moguls with the other group, with the older folks. Maybe this isn't your pace. I was hemming and hawing, trying to be reasonable. And then one of the instructors looked at me and said, "No, you're coming with us and you're going to rip. Not go practice, not stay comfortable." He pushed me back into the elements. And that's what I needed. Not more technique, belief. Because this is what I learned. I had the skills. I just needed to use them. And here are the top 3 things that made all the difference. Number 1, side slip is my friend. Those falling leaf drills, invaluable. In steep glades and tight bump lines, sometimes you don't need another turn. You need speed control. On that narrow traverse into Slide Brook, I would get going too fast, alarms going in my head. Instead of panic, pivot. Side slip. Even a wedge when needed. That's not weakness, that's strategy. Number 2, pole plant. In many of my previous videos, there have been a lot of comments about the importance of pole planting. And in this clinic, I quickly learned if you weren't pole planting that pole downhill to initiate the turn, you were done. That was the soundtrack of the clinic. Pole plant, pole plant, pole plant. It keeps you forward. It commits your body going downhill. It sets the rhythm in what seems like chaos with bountiful bumps, tight trees, and other obstacles. And I am shocked how sore my upper body was because I was finally using it like my life depended on it. Number 3, athletic dynamic position. You cannot ski terrain like this upright and defensive. You'll get tossed around like a rag doll. You have to be ready, athletic, dynamic, attack stance, ankle flex to initiate that power in the front of the boot. Real speed control came from using the tops of the big bumps to scrub speed, traversing when needed to reset and choose a line, finishing turns uphill in those deep troughs. Using the whole mountain, that was huge. Skiing technical terrain over 50 is like a video game. You're scanning for the best path, avoiding obstacles, adjusting constantly. Yes, I did pop out of my skis a few times hitting stumps and rocks, which happens. But here's what really shifted. When professionals tell you your ability level is good to go, lean into that. They know what they're looking at. And over 50, we quietly sideline ourselves. We assume we shouldn't rip anymore. But improvement isn't always another drill. Just sometimes it's trusting your skills that you've already built and pushing yourself to get that confidence boost. I can say that this experience was a turning point in my Drill Down to Level Up series. Proof that dedication to simple skill building translates big time in the hard terrain. If you're skiing difficult runs and slipping into survival mode, if you've ever talked yourself out of terrain you're capable of, trust your toolbox. And if you need to add to your toolbox, I recommend watching some of my earlier videos in this series that use Deb Armstrong drills and practice. And another tip here, work with a professional. It is a game changer. Get eyes on your technique to push you appropriately, and then trust yourself. And stop shrinking because you belong there. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what would give you more confidence. I love hearing your stories and insights. And remember to like this video and subscribe only if you're digging my vibe. I'll see you on the slopes.